Right, so we're back. Little update. We haven't done a video for a while, so I thought I'd do an update on what's changed. As you can see already, there is some big changes going on. First major changes, we have the battery inverter. 300 watt pure sine wave inverter. At least that's what I've been told it is. USB, ready to go. Load that right down there. And cold weather. As you see, we've got our earth connection, we've got our positive and negative, which then goes from the plug in there to this little single socket. Now, here is the nerves. That's our solar panels. That's the amount of current coming in from our solar panels. Usually we have two 12 volt 20 watt panels, and we are going to go and get a 24 volt 240 watt panel, so we'll have about 280ish watts of power to play around with. That one is our grid charging, also can be used for the generator when we fire the generator up to charge our battery bank back up. That's just a little relay of 8 milliamps. This one is our total consumption of everything we use in the shed. Inverters, try and get that a bit focused for you. Inverters, lights, everything else. That's another one. And then this one is our consumption of our outdoor lights. So, and this one is for our cigarette lighter sockets. The 50 amp dial measures these cigarette lighter sockets. Now, we have upgraded our battery bank. Holding a charge of 14.3. We are doing a little bit of grid charging because the solar panels aren't very good in the winter. So we're doing a little bit of grid charging with our smart charger. It's a 6 amp B&Q smart charger. Charges quite up, it's wired into the system through the wall, into the plug socket. The battery bank nice and topped up. These dials here, these are isolators. Focus that bit. I can switch between what I want to use. So do I want to use the generator on that one? So I flick that, the whole shed will then be powered off the generator. I flick that one, it will then be powered from the house. I flick that one, it will then be powered off the inverter. Right. These panels were, a wood colour before. They've now been painted with proper damp-proof paint. With that, excellent stuff. Definitely would recommend. Painted. So I am going to, this is just an undercoat now. We are going to be doing battleship grey, aircraft grey. It's going to look really, really nice in here. We've got our aircraft grey paint, which is in the post. And what is powering this operation is these. These are two 55 amp hour 12 volt car batteries. And they give me a grand total of 110 amp hours at 12 volts. This is just our little battery bank cover that I made. These are fluid lead acid batteries, so they do require venting by these computer fans, which suck in air from the outside, pushing through. See them holes that obviously they go to the outside world. You can just see the light. They go to the outside world. Same as a couple round with this. And then it'll light and we can see what we're doing. So, yeah, back with batteries now. I accidentally pressed the pause button. So we have 110 amp hours of battery. There's our venting. The holes there, they vent the hydrogen out. Get the colour so you can probably see some daylight somewhere. Yep, see the daylight, yep. These are the fans. They push fresh oxygen in the battery bank, and then hopefully it pushes it out through the holes. And there's the fans there, little computer hands even. The batteries. Now these are big daddy cables. These are 25 square mil cables coming out into that junction. They power everything. So both I pulled at 100 amp maximum of my battery bank. Don't pull any more than that. And those cables don't even get warm. So I'm going to get some more big batteries. I am planning to get an ATM battery bank eventually. So I don't really want to mix the gel ATMs with the flooded lead acid. You have two different charging voltages. So I may have to get a 24 volt bank and a 12 volt bank, possibly. But anyway, from them cables, them 25 square foot cables, it runs under there, and then up, just behind them panels. It eventually comes out in this fuse. This is a 100 amp fuse. That's actually 14.3, not 14.9. It's just the way when it's changing over between 14.3 and 14.4, it looks like that. Here's a 100 amp fuse. It gets split off down here into these junctions, and they go to the various bus bars and shunts which measure the current. Now, as you can see, we're charging it at just about an amp. Now, if I was to place some loads on this, let's say, let's place some loads. Right, let's put some lights on outside. Right. So let's see what we're pulling. We put on our outside 12 volt lights. We're pulling about 13.5 amp, something like that. And then you can see the charger has jumped up to 7, so 7.5 maybe, 7, 6, 7, yeah, that's 7.5, 7.5 amps. The voltage is dipped quite drastically, 13 volts. Now, if I was to turn this charger off, now it's gone nice and quiet, we are now pulling 13 amp directly off the batteries. It will come on down. Now, see our total consumption of the whole shed, about 15 amps on this meter. Like the steam off that, so bitterly cold here. As you can see, about 15 amp, and the accurate meter says it's about 13. So it's near enough. So let's put some loads on our inverter. I'll be back in a second. Right, we're back. Done this little mock-up just for you guys. The cables in. I'm going to switch over to inverter power. You'll see, we'll just turn this battery charger off while we're on the grid. You see, it's gone dark. Voltage is at 12.3. The lights are still switched on, so we've got the lights. You can see, it has 12.1. And we're now running on inverter. So we're running off this 300 watt inverter. It is pretty cold, so the fan has not come on yet. But now we go over to the inverter one. So you're pulling just over 10 amps. So it's about 12 amps. 12.5, 10. Near enough. 12.5 amp. Our total power still, bear in mind, we're still pulling 12 amps off the lighting. So according to this total meter, we're pulling just a little over 20 amp. So we really increased the loads. At the moment we've just got these LED lights, one halogen light, 2 LED lights and 2 more halogen lights above the door. Oh, and the battery bank light, which is that one. So this is enough power. And you see the voltage is at 11.8. 11.9, 11.8. So let's turn the lights off. Turn them lights off. And you see the voltage rebound quite quickly. See, 12.2, 12.1. So let's put on some loads. Right, I'm going to switch this one on. This is our lights all in there. See that's come on. And we're now pulling a little over 20 amp off the inverter. Bear in mind, this is a 300 watt continuous. This is a really good inverter. This will put out about 480 watts for about 10 to 12 minutes. It won't break on you, it won't overload. And I have taken the alarms out of them because the alarms are really annoying. So then if I've got some alley lights. I've got 3 big fluorescent tubes in the alleyway. Put them on. See, the voltage dipped a little bit. And the lights have now come on. Now on here there is a red light flashing which tells me yes, you're pulling too much current, reduce it. So we have that light on, we've got all these lights on in here, we've got the battery lights on in there, we've got the lights on outside, the big fluorescent strip lights, and we're now pulling 40 amps off the battery bank. Now according to the total meter, we're pulling about just over 35. But this meter is not as accurate as the other one. So you can see a fairly substantial amount. If I was to come along now and say, right, well I want to put the lights on as well outside. All the lights are now on outside. We're now pulling 12 amps over there. And we're now pulling close to 40 amp over here. So that means it should realistically just be about 50, just under 50. But this meter isn't very accurate. As when as the current goes up, the meters do not really become really accurate unless you pay a lot of money for them. So you can see we're pulling roughly about 50 amp off the battery bank, which is a substantial amount to pull. So you're pulling the voltage down to the minimum, 12.4, 12.5, and most of that is due to the cable size. I mean, this cable here, this is taking the whole current now. And warm. Inverter, it's just getting warm. Cables, I mean, these baby cables, 40 amp. Yeah, it's warm, but because it's 1 degree, 0 degrees outside, it really does take a long time for it to heat up. And the fault light is still going on. I did actually take the alarm out of this inverter. I use it as a backup system, and sometimes when we have main failure in the house or we have a power cut, I switch over from the shed and put it into the house so I can run on my designated loads in the house as well, which then causes the problem of if I accidentally put something on that's over 300 watts, i.e. an old telly, which is in our front room, it overloads the inverter, it takes a big surge current, and then the inverter trips off. And then beeps, and that means I've got to run all the way to the shed, find the keys, and it's beep, 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 beep. But now I've taken the alarm out, it's nice and quiet. So if it's 3 in the morning, I don't have to be run to the shed worrying about what my neighbours are going to think. That always beeping alarms. Yeah. So we'll switch off from the inverter and we'll go back to mains power. Let's just switch the inverter off. Let's turn these lights on. I should say, back to mains power. The inverter, we'll just switch the inverter off for now, getting some electricity. As you can see, we're pulling nothing, absolutely nothing. And the battery bank is back up to 12.5, which tells me I'm still relatively full. And then what I will do now, I'll just go and top the batteries up, put the charger on. Charger will then come online. There we are, it's charging. Now, we're charging now at about 7 amp, just a bit over 7 amp. And you'll see the voltages really climb. 12.8, climbing on now. And most of that is to do with cable size. I mean, if you don't have good cables on your batteries, then it'll be chemically imbalanced, and it will be not equal, and you can't kill a battery like that. These batteries I've had for, I had my first battery about a year ago, year and a half, which is the very far front one. And the back one's only about 6 months old, which is second hand as well, off a car. That first battery is really had a hammer, and it's been drained down about 20 times, left dead overnight by me accidentally, of course. It's been load tested millions of times since I've tested it with a load meter, and it's still fine. Still no problems with it. I mean, it isn't as good as the other battery, but it will hold a charge for about 40 amp hour. So yes, we have decreased its life a little bit, but you can compensate with the other battery. And when I get a big battery bank, I'll cover more batteries. There's plenty of room for more batteries. This covers the design of batteries. with plenty of capacity. We can get a bigger inverter. But yeah, cables, big cables. See, big cables. None of that little small stuff. Big cables. That's what you need. So, there's my panel. Switch 2. Now we got our generator here. And there's our junction box for the solar panel. So that's it really, until next. Goodbye.